Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from theshrinkingfaster.com.
Together, the three of us, we are Markwood's Breakfast Club. Welcome back to Tobacco Advent.
Morning.
Morning, boy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Oh, I've got the giggles today. I need to smoke some tobacco. So what do we got? This is something from Steve Harper. Steve sent us something earlier in Tobacco Advent, didn't he?
He did.
Thank you, Steve, for your support of Markwood Men's Breakfast Club Tobacco Advent. And why don't you tell us about this?
Hello, Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Scott, Seth, and everyone else. This is Steve from Connecticut. I am smoking the official Markwood Men's Breakfast Club corncob pipe, the Morgan Nose Warmer Naked. Inside is a blend that I made out of Cigar Leaf and Virginia and Latakia and Burley and Perique. If you take some of the first letters of those, you can come up with the name that I came up with, which is CiViL BurP. CI for Cigar Leaf, VI for Virginia, L for Latakia, BUR for Burley, and P for Perique. So, I don't know if Scott and Seth will enjoy this tobacco at all, but I like it quite a bit.
All right, well, that smells interesting. We've smelled worse this season,
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm hopeful, even though it does have some of the things I don't like in it. Weird things are happening to me. So I'm going through changes.
Puberty,
My armpits smell.
puberty finally hitting.
Yeah. All right, so we're what?
I was gonna say we really haven't dabbled into blending much tobacco.
No.
At least I haven't.
No, we have not. There's been no dabbling.
Maybe that's something we should try in the new year.
Okay, I'm not against it. I mean, I think that's going to be one of the challenges and one of the solutions for people with the FDA deeming is that we're going to have to buy if we want some of those old blends that we're used to, we're going to have to buy tobacco in bulk and blend them. My question is, does the FDA, do their rules eliminate bulk tobacco sales? Will we be able to buy 1 ounce of tobacco if that's not the way it's already packaged from the manufacturer? Which kind of makes me wonder, with the tins that Lane came out with last year of all their various blends, like 1Q, that may be their way of providing to the retailers a sellable smaller quantity. I'm curious if the bulk sales will go, bulk as in small bulk sales.
I don't know. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, because they're saying it. They at one point I read that it, original manufacturer labels and all those things have got to be on the package. Well, how can you do that if you've got 5 pounds in a jar and you're selling it by the ounce?
Well, you put it on
the jar.
You put it on the jar.
Yeah. Anyway,
I guess.
question to throw out to you there. I don't know, but this is an interesting idea, and Steve, thank you for sharing this blend with us.
Yeah, I'm sure that it already exists to some extent, but I suspect what we'll see is a growing prevalence of blend recipes, much like we have seen with e-cig juice recipes, where people will share their do-it-yourself juice as juice has become, e-juice has become less available. I bet on the forums we'll see even more blend recipes. So it's interesting. All right, Steve. So what's the question for the day?
Do you or do you not put up Christmas lights? If so, when do you take them down? And if not, why not? The answer for me is, inside the house, we have lots of lights. We have a lit Christmas tree. Outside the house, I don't put any up. The reason I don't put any up is, well, frankly, I'm lazy. And I cannot stand, especially in the Northeast where it gets cold after Christmas, the idea of taking them down and packing them up and putting them away. So I don't put them up. People probably think I'm a humbug about that, but I just don't do it. So, question to you is, do you put Christmas lights up? If so, when do you take them down? And if not, why not? Take it easy.
That's a really good question. Just last night, for the umpteenth time this year, leaving dinner at a restaurant with the grandkids, we went for a drive looking at Christmas lights. I really appreciate the effort that people put in. And, you know, it goes from a house that maybe has a lot of wreaths and maybe some electric candles in the windows, and they're lighting the exterior of the house. You see that a lot around here. You know, beautiful exterior and landscaping, so they don't bother putting a lot of lights. Where the next house next door might have the little white lights going around every single corner, and that's gorgeous. That makes the house look like, you know, a gingerbread house kind of a effect. To my house, which my poor bride, she puts up as many lights as she can, which is basically just on our entryway. With me in a leg brace and struggling with knee pain, you're not going to get me on a ladder anytime soon.
Right.
We got a pretty steep roof. We've never had a house with a roof this steep. I've been on the roof of every house we've ever been in, except for this one, including the one in Columbus, which was a rental. But I was on that roof one time retrieving somebody's toy.
Frisbee.
I want to say it was a hula hoop. It was something that had no business being on the roof. But because I had to go over and borrow Walt's big super ladder. Remember that vividly. Anyway, so it's I'd love to have. There's two houses in our neighborhood that are just completely decked out, and one of them does it where they have it around every single corner of the house, and then they have a couple icicles that are lit up hanging. Another one goes the other extreme and is quite gaudy, with words and symbols on the roof in lights and archways that go up and over the driveway a couple times. And yet, in its own way, it's completely beautiful. You know, if you had done one or two of those pieces, it would have looked but because he did just, his electrical bill's got to go through the roof every Christmas.
Yeah.
So that's the first half of the question.
I've seen numbers on some of the houses that have like the musical light shows, and what their electric bills are, and they're just insane.
I have to think it's coming down with LEDs, but then you have the investment of the new lights,
right?
Which, you know, actually doesn't take that many years to pay off LED lights in savings. The other part of the question is, well, the first other part of the question was the inside and outside. We actually have quite a number of lights inside. We've got lights on our tree, which this year I mentioned is actually mounted on the wall, and it's a upcycled pallet tree, which we really like. We've got lit up nativity scenes. We've got lit up little ceramic buildings, like a little village. We've got those electric candles in most of the windows downstairs, and countless number of little 3-volt lights, you know, little night light bulbs that are lighting up things.
Yeah.
And just last night, your mom took a string of LED bulbs and basically created garland by tying short lengths of fabric in various colors and tying those on. And it's really, really gorgeous. So she has that going up and over, and then looping there on the entryway from the anyway, as you're entering the living room from the entryway, right there, that area, she now has those hung up. So lots and lots of lights. We didn't have any lights on in the house besides those lights last night. I could have read a book.
Yeah.
On my tablet. How about you?
We live in an apartment, and so we don't have any exterior lights. Our apartment also faces woods. our back patio faces woods, and so if we had a front-facing patio, one that faced the parking lot, we probably would have some decorations out there. But we don't bother to decorate the patio. Inside, the only Christmas lights we have are our tree, which has some colored LEDs on it, and then we also have white LEDs around our door frame that we keep, our patio door frame that we keep there year round.
Inside.
Yeah, inside. They're from they're IKEA lights.
So that's one of those rope lights, right? It's
yes.
like a tube that
Yeah,
has
no.
LEDs in it.
No, it's a strand light, and each LED sticks off of the strand about this far.
Okay.
It's like I don't even know, 15-foot, 20-foot rope that goes up and over and down our door frames.
And that just provides you some ambient light when other lights are off?
Yeah, so it lets us turn off most of the lights. Oftentimes at nighttime, we'll keep a couple of lights on, since Ender's constantly getting up to go to the bathroom with his condition, or constantly going to the refrigerator to get some water. We will keep the light, our stove light, on sometimes. We have a over the stove light, or we have two just simple small lamps that sit on either end of our
but
countertop.
those really are, I mean, okay, while technically some of those were sold as Christmas lights.
No, well, that's why I wasn't going to bring those up, because they're not Christmas lights at all.
So what do you
That's why I said the only Christmas lights are really on our Christmas tree.
on the tree?
That's it.
So when do you take your tree down?
I don't know. That's yet to be seen. We didn't put our tree up until late. Whenever we get ambitious enough to do it. It probably will be pretty soon after Christmas this year. Just because it's taking up floor space in our tiny apartment. But so it will probably be down sometime around New Year.
Okay. Well, okay, so the takedown, the stuff on the outside, on the entryway patio, most of that will come down, though we do have one strand, probably again 20 foot, that goes around in the ceiling area, because the lights that we have on the front next to the door are super bright. But when the lights are off, it's super dark in our entryway. So we just leave those lights on 24/7 year round.
Right.
And they just add some safety, I think, an element of safety. So those I don't really count in my mind as Christmas lights, but the others that are wrapped around banisters and things like that, those will come down in the next week or so after Christmas.
Right.
There's one of those inflatable lighted thingies out in the yard.
Yeah, the snowman.
The snowman that's shivering. That'll come down in a week or so. The little village and nativity scenes and things like that, also probably a week or so after New Year's.
Right.
And then I'll bet you a bunch of those lights that your mom put up will probably stay up, because one of the first apartments that Jandy and I had, we had no money. We had some hand-me-down furniture that people had given us. And in our bedroom, we had no lights. And this was an old enough building that room didn't have a ceiling light. It had a switched outlet. So it was designed to have lights sitting on nightstands. We had 2 peach crates. We didn't have nightstands. And so we had this thing hanging on the wall that I think was like a rattan floor mat. Big, funky-looking thing. And we had woven into that Christmas lights. And that was the light in our bedroom.
Yeah.
And we had this was an old converted schoolhouse that we lived in.
Cool.
And we had a south-facing window and an east-facing window in our bedroom, and they were huge windows. They had to be, I don't know, probably 6 by 6, really big windows. And so much so we had flower planter boxes inside the house sitting on the window sill. Thank you. But at night, when you needed just enough light to get to bed,
Right.
those lights were perfect.
Yeah.
And so going back to those days, I like that, just that ambient light, and so it wouldn't bother me at all. The Christmas tree is going to come down, those
Right.
things that are truly Christmas, but to leave some of these other lights on doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, that's how we feel about those
Yeah.
those LEDs.
I
They're
agree.
just great ambient light.
You're watching
Make sure
a
you don't
movie
stub
or
your
something?
toe.
Yeah, when you're watching a movie and you don't want glare on the TV, but you want some light in
Right.
the room, those are great lights.
Yeah.
Anyway, so kind of a weird situation in our family, but how about you? Do you put up Christmas lights? Are they inside? Are they outside? Combination of the two? And when do you take them down? What do you think of this tobacco?
I like it. I like it. Good mix. You?
For my normal tongue, it's a little bit strong.
Yep.
Right? But this is a decent, for me, a tobacco that I would smoke after I've smoked a number of bowls, right? When you need something that's going to pack a little more of a wallop so you know
Right.
you're actually smoking. It's not super strong. I mean, it's not, no one of those elements is
Stands out
overwhelming.
too much. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well done, Steve. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to cram my face hole full of corn chips as soon as we stop recording, but that's still not a bad thing.
No. All right. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you guys for watching.
Make it a great day. Answer a question down below.
All right. See ya.